Welcome to my third Edinburgh Free Fringe story, and this one is original stuff. It's based on the thing called the negative confession. I need to do some dodging here. Oh no, wrong side. This behind me is, can I actually wheel out the way? I can. Oh, I can almost wheel out the way. Is a weighing of the heart scene. This poor guy has died. His heart and soul is being weighed there against the feather of truth. Mart, if it's too heavy, he's going to go to oblivion, not make it to the afterlife. So these stories of all the tainted Mart are about this concept of leading a good life to get into the afterlife. But unfortunately, being human, some of these things didn't quite work out for a lot of people. And taking inspiration from some actual historical people, these series of stories give a little flavor of some of the things they get up to. This one is based on the line from the instructions of Imenope. All conduct should be so straight that you can measure it with a plumb line. Raheb, high priest of the temple of Amun, Ra, stood before the golden statue of his god and gave up the offerings for the final ritual for the night. Stepping back slowly from the shrine so that his other priests can close it, he was deep in thought, always deep in thought, for his is a great responsibility for this immense temple and the importance and connection with Pharaoh. His thoughts turned to the festivals that were oncoming as he walked slowly across the courtyard. His attention was drawn to someone calling his name. One of his priests hurried up, his sandals flapping across the courtyard. "My lord, Radneb, Tia awaits for you in your study." Radneb lets out a sigh. Always something else to do. He straightens his priestly robes and with a deep breath strides purposely back to his study. On entering, Tia sits primly on a bare stool in his meager study, his bedroom, essentially. Her perfume filling the room, almost gagging. Her face impassive. She looks directly at Raneb as he enters. "I see you have finally shown up. Come here to attend me." Raneb, a proud man and a man of position, being ordered about in his own temple, grits his teeth and approaches. "Tia, I am high priest here. I have many duties, as you well aware know. I'm not here to answer your beck and call because you are bored. Her eyes flare. But she remains motionless other than that. He sees her anger. And aware of her position and her value to him, I apologize, Tia. It's been a long day. What can I do for you at this very late hour? She smiles. He doesn't like this smile. It's as if a cat is stalking its prey. But her eyes soften and a smile crosses her lips. Raneb, my husband, the new vizier, is with Pharaoh. They plan the oncoming war with the Northern Sea people. And as you say, I am bored. But I have a new position within society. This has elevated me somewhat. And I am now a woman of pleasure. My husband, like you, is devoted to his calling. And I seek some entertainment. She stands and begins to approach him. Rahab steps back. What do you need of me? Standing very close, face to face. She looks him straight in the eyes. Rahab, I have noticed on the many occasions we have spoken, the way you look at me. Now, I adore my husband, but he does not give everything that I require. Perhaps you may. She touches his arm. Tia, I am a priest. You must know I have certain abstinences. As much as I am flattered, her smile twists. Rahab, don't play games with me. I am aware of these rumors that circle in court of why you took this position at the temple. Are they true? Rahab looks startled. These rumors, I do not know what you speak of, Tia. She gets closer. He can feel her breath on his face. No, she says. That is not the game. You know very well these rumors. You are hiding. I know. But do not worry. All of these wives you've seduced and are running from their husbands, have no fear. I am not going to fall for you that easy. But I am, as I said, a woman of independent means. Perhaps we can have some fun. And she places her hand on his arm. He's hesitating. But as she draws him towards his Spartan bed, he gives in. Light comes through the window. It is dawn. Raheb, hearing the gong for the beginning of the day and his duties that he must perform, stirs. He finds Tia already dressing. Going so soon, he says. My husband will be home from Pharaoh's court soon. He may miss me. But here, I have a gift. She pulls a serpent ring from her finger and throws it onto the bed next to him. A gift, much like all the others you have had from other women. There may be more. You pleased me. And she swishes out the door. The temple routine resumes. A little late. Raheb is not quite ready, but soon catches up with his duties. Again, towards the end of the day, he finalizes his rites, and as the doors begin to close, he hears footsteps are out of place. He turns slightly. Stop. You need to be pure to enter this shrine. The voice behind him, slightly familiar, when he says, Raheb, why therefore you are standing there? You are certainly not pure. The other priests throw glances, and Raheb begins to dawn on him that he recognizes this. This is the vizier. This is Tia's husband. He hides his shaking hands and turns to face this man. He gives him a slight bow and walks towards Nebenti. Thank you for this visit. The shrine is closing. Let us walk and talk. What brings you to the temple? The other man stops. You know very well why I'm here. It is Tia. Raheb. Oh, yes, I have seen her. Yes, you have certainly seen her. And he grips Raheb's arm and pulls him towards one of the columns in the shadows. He jabs a finger in Raheb's chest. I have no problem with who she seeks for entertainment. Generally. But for you, I'm making an exception. The rumors that surround you are bad. You will not rob her and me of our wealth like the others. No, Raheb says. If you, Raheb, continue to see her, I guarantee there will be repercussions, bad repercussions, and you will regret that. Nebenti turns and hurries out. Roneb watches his back as he hurries into the darkness. Rubbing his hands, he returns back to his study. And he's startled to find Tia sat again on the stool. His heart beats faster as he takes in the beauty of this woman. But his own self-preservation gnaws at him. Tia looks slightly amused. You look agitated. He glares. Well, your husband was here. She lets out a delightful little laugh. Well, she says, I'm sure we can clear our minds of that issue. And she undresses and steps into his bed, tapping the side. Come join me. The days go by. Each night, he is visited by Tia. And each night, his anxiety kicks in further. "5 days. And he has had enough. As they lay in bed, Raheb rubs his head. Tia, we must stop this, at least for a while. Your husband has made threats. Tia strokes his arm. I'm sure he has. But again, he has heard these rumors too. Are they true? You haven't answered my question. Are these rumors true? Is that why you are here, hiding? But don't worry, I have no care for that. She begins to kiss him, and there's a disturbance outside. Raheb, getting to his feet, eager to see what this problem is. His voices, his servants. Raheb is busy. He will not take visitors now. Raheb cannot make out the voice, is muffled. But he is soon aware of who this is. For stepping through the door is Nebenti. Tia gasps. He does not look very happy to find them like this. Raheb approaches the man. What can I say? What can I say? Nebenti looks between both of them. A reckoning is due, Raheb. I told you, I warned you. Raheb backs up. Let us sit and talk. I have beer here. Grab the stool from over there and bring it to the table, and we will share a drink and talk. While Nebenti is walking towards the stool, Raheb approaches his table and lifts the jug of beer that lies there, and taking down 2 fine alabaster cups, places them on the table. He notices a small vial on this shelf, and a plan comes to mind. He palms the vial discreetly. Nebenti returns to the table as Raheb pours the beer. Nebenti does not see this palmed vial also being emptied into the glass. Which he gives to Nebenti. Nebenti may not have noticed it, but Tia definitely did. And her gasp almost gives Raheb away. He turns and shakes his head. Nebenti looks perplexed at this, but he also looks quite angry at his wife, who lays naked in Raheb's bed. My wife is there. He points at her. Raheb begins to speak, but it's Tia who makes the first move. Taking the sheets, she launches from the bed and kneels down beside Raheb. Nebenti, forgive me. Forgive Raheb. I find great joy with Raheb. Nebenti looks down at his wife. He swirls the beer around and looks at inside the drink. Raheb looks anxious. Raheb knows he's not taken a sip yet. And as some of it spills, as he contemplates her words, is very tense. Nebenti looks down at his wife again. We will talk later. I must do something now. And with one swift movement, he swipes the alabaster vessel against the side of her head, and she falls to the floor, unconscious. This wine, this beer flowing everywhere. Raheb's panic. He stands and backs away as Nebenti stands with him. Please, please, Nebenti, please, let us talk. No, 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 no. Too late, Raheb. No words for this. And withdraws a knife from his belt. He takes a step towards Raheb. Raheb takes a step back, and another step, and another. And soon his legs knock against the bed, and he falls back onto it. Nebenti stalks closer and closer. Goodbye. And lunges with the knife to Raheb's stomach. Once, the knife buries deep to the hilt. Nebenti repeats a second, a third stab. Raheb is motionless. Nebenti seems to regain his senses. Standing, he looks at his blood-covered hands and the knife and drops it to the floor. Feeling slightly bewildered and in shock, he looks to his wife, who's starting to gain consciousness again, and he kneels beside her. She's groggy, head spinning. She's rubbing her face. He looks around and sees Raheb's cup on the table and the jug. He fills the cup and gives it to her, which she swiftly takes down. It is only then, when she's aware, she realizes what she's drinking. She was sure Raheb put it into his cup and not his own. Or did he put it in the jug? A tightness grabs her stomach. Increases and increases. Her breathing becomes difficult. Nebenti is confused, horrified. What is happening? Then it dawns on him. Poison. And he smashes the jug on the floor, but it's too late. With a few gasps, Tia lays dead at his feet. Both bodies that lay in this room Neventee is at a loss. He has always done what is right, and he thought this was what is right, to protect what he loved. But this has gone horribly wrong. He must do what is right now to pay for this. And he looks at the knife that lays upon the floor and to the remains of the cup, half drunk. He now needs to make his decision. Thank you. They're all dead, Dave. 20, half an hour. Hopefully that was okay for you. I had to make a few changes suddenly. Okay. As I say, that was based roughly on a real life person called Paneb. He was a nasty piece of work. And I'm going to do some stories about him at some point. So I'm on again 4 p.m. tomorrow. Sound of Silence, another really quite twisted one, that one. Good old Baba. Hopefully you'll enjoy all the other free Fringe stuff that's going on. Feel free, hang on, I'm just going to throw in the next stuff into, there we go. Links for the next shows. Free Fringe is done for free by the charge for the performers and for you. Free Fringe would always happy to take any donations. I'm not too fussed, but do come along to some more. Come along to other shows. Gemma there. Gem, you've got your podcast. Do you want to stick your links in? That's probably thrown you. The Happiness Anonymous podcast. It's great fun. Okay, she's probably scrambling around trying to find a link. I hope. Anyway, so this is this one. If you want to run, that's fine. If you want, I could always do another free story. Anybody want another story? Different story? I think I would probably do the Hathor and the Destruction of Mankind. Haven't done that one for any of the shows this year. I was going to do that for last weekend, but I didn't get round to it. Yeah, let's do that one. That's a fun one. Well, fun one in that everybody dies again, but hey. The sun god Ra sat upon the solar bark that flies from the sun through the sky, taking the sun with it from every day, from sunrise to sunset, back again, and every day forever. He sits there upon his throne, looking down upon the earth and marveling at all his creation, except for one. One is really starting to bug him. That's these humans. He's not entirely certain whether they were a good idea. And they've just got worse over time. They defile the earth, his creation. They show no sympathy, no empathy, no compassion for one another. They're constantly fighting. They make a mess. They show no respect to the gods. Perhaps he made a mistake. Perhaps he should start again. That's an idea. Children, he says, come before me. I have an announcement. The various gods and goddesses that he created, his children, assemble before him, eager to hear his words. I have made a mistake with humans. I need one of you to go upon this earth and destroy every single one of them, and I shall create a new humanity to replace them. Perhaps they will be better. This obviously wasn't quite what everybody was expecting. And yeah, I think quite a few of them did agree that humans were a little bit annoying, needy, and unpleasant a lot of the time. But sometimes they were quite amusing. They had their moments. But Laura has spoken. This will need to be done. But who was going to do this deed? Murmuring filled the barge and then stopped at a low growl from the back. Heads turned and a pathway parted. There was one who was eager. His daughter, Sekhmet the lioness, goddess of vengeance. She sauntered slowly to the foot of her father. I will do this for you. With relish, father. He nodded. And she took a running jump from the barge, leapt into the sky, and plummeted to the earth, her form changing to her lioness form, but huge, bigger than any animal upon the earth, bigger than the elephant. It thundered, and dust flew in the air at her landing. The horror upon the earth at the sight of her. This huge, abnormally huge lioness. Letting out a huge roar, she began her hunt. One village after the other, everyone was slaughtered, without mercy or pause. Men, women, children, none, everyone fell to her. News spread rapidly as those that were quick enough ran with all their speed that they could muster. She continued along the Nile Valley. Village, town, everything fell. Even the Nile flowed with blood. And that rose even more anxiety and fear. For that flowed faster than any men's legs could carry them. All she left behind was blood-stained desert as she took each village. It seemed at that point that humans remembered the gods and flooded every temple they could find and pleaded with every deity they could name for forgiveness against whatever it is they have done. Of course, Ra heard this. He heard their pitiful cries. It began to affect him. Perhaps I was wrong, he thought. Perhaps they do deserve a chance to change. Sekhmet, my daughter, he called from the barge. Stop this horror. I recall you. She did not stop. She did not hear. Her bloodlust was filling her vision. And she continued her rampage along the Nile. He called many times, but every time, no response, no let up in the ferocity and the horror and carnage that she unleashed upon every person she found. Ra began to panic. He could not command her. Thoth, my son, come to me. God of wisdom, of the Ibis god, floated from the sky and landed beside his father. My son Thoth, I seek your wisdom. You have always been the best with words. You are a great arbitrator. Go to your sister and convince her to stop. She does not hear me. Thoth, launching from the barge, transformed into his bird form and floated down to the earth. He landed behind his sister. He was well aware that she had her bloodlust and she would not stop any kind of slaughter. And while he was immortal, he did not really want to feel those claws upon him. Looking at this desolation around her, he knew he could not persuade her with words. Such was her lust for continued slaughter. Looking upon the earth and the legs of blood, an idea came to her mind. And he took to the sky and returned to his father. Ra was eager for news. I did not stop her, he says, but I have an idea of what will. I request 7,000 jugs of beer and the red ochre of the North Desert. Ra was confused about this strange request. But if that's what Thoth requested, it was worth a go. And taking these jars in his claws, Thoth managed them to the ground. He stopped at the next town enough time to do what he needed to do. He added the ochre to the beer and then spilt the beer across the village to flood it with a red foam. Just in time, as Sekhmet arrived. She was confused. She was sure she had not killed everybody here yet, but the village was empty. But blood was upon the ground. But what a blood! The odor was sweet. And enticing. For a moment, she stopped and considered her thirst. Perhaps I need to rest here, she thought. I will drink of this blood. And she drank, and she drank, and she kept drinking. It was delicious, different. Also made her feel a little bit odd. But that didn't stop her drinking, and she kept drinking. And that was the last she remembered. She woke in daylight, her head spinning, pounding with the pain. The ground had dried, and her mouth tasted not of flesh. Her head was confused. She had a vague memory she was doing something. Her paws were red. Perhaps she was killing. She couldn't remember. But there was a crowd forming ahead of her. They had spears. They did not look very happy. Fearing those sharp things, even though she was immense and could easily take them. She didn't feel too good. And getting unsteadily to her feet, she padded away into the desert to seek shelter. And that, my friends, is how beer saved the human race, as it has done forever and shall always do so. Well, this is what water, but it's good enough. I do like that one. Right, well, we're coming up for an hour. Thank you for coming along. It's fine. That was fine. Too chilled. Same here again tomorrow for, as I said, Sound of Silence. 2 more after next weekend. I've got an unusual sci-fi one on Monday, which isn't part of the Fringe. It's 8 p.m. UK time. So I think for you in the US, it's probably still reasonable, but it's a Monday. That's a bit of a sci-fi one based on my hometown with X-Files, a bit of Scooby-Doo. But thanks for coming along and enjoy the ongoing Fringe, and see you all again soon. Bye-bye.